The two sides of the Bill Gates coin. Is Bill Gates a villain disguised as an international philanthropist? Do you want to know if he's using the Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation to decrease the world's population? Are you worried that he's behind a conspiracy to plant microchips in humans by using the COVID-19 vaccines? Should you be concerned about the stream of financial support to the mainstream which he funds? Welcome to the World Econ News. Don't forget to subscribe to our channel, like this video, and hit the notification button to get updates and information about the latest international economic news items. You've probably heard or watched plenty of scary stories alleging all sorts of unnerving stuff about Bill Gates. Conspiracy theories such as his alleged plans to decrease the world population, inject the whole world population with microchips via vaccinations for the purpose of control, and of course the heavily covered story about his endless control and manipulation of the news via funding and blackmailing mainstream media outlets and journalists. The endless queue of social media pages, groups, and YouTube channels that are dedicated to exposing the alleged truth about Bill Gates have anywhere between tens of thousands to hundreds of thousands of followers and subscribers. Many of the followers and managers of these pages and groups are surprisingly smart, educated people, business persons, and people with university degrees. Some of these channels are very legit activism and truth channels that do research and are not just in it for fun and horseplay. And yes, they do target Bill Gates for various reasons, such as his stubborn stance on how the world must tackle climate change and pollution, and his hundreds of millions of dollars of funds for mainstream and non-mainstream media outlets, renowned journalists, and academic journals. There are also plenty of questions about his role in promoting and profiteering from genetically modified seeds and vaccine production. For now, let's start by talking about some important stuff about Bill Gates. Bill Gates was born William Henry Gates III on October 28, 1955 in Seattle, Washington. He grew up in an upper-middle-class family. He got enrolled at Harvard University in the fall of 1973 but dropped out in 1975 to pursue his business, Microsoft. Eventually, he became one of the richest men in the world. Now to the money part. Look, I'll not go over the history of Microsoft here, and I will just stick to two simple facts. Bill Gates came from a decent, rich family with a long history of charitable work. As for when he made his first $1 billion, well, his endeavor, Microsoft, helped him become a billionaire in 1987 at the mere age of 31. It's worth mentioning here that despite his appearance, Bill Gates was a very feisty person in his teenage and young adulthood. He never ran away from a fight or a challenge. He was also well known during his young manhood for his anger and rage episodes at Microsoft and obsession with monitoring his employees. In 1994, Bill Gates was shattered after his mother's death from breast cancer. Soon after, he followed in her footsteps and became a renowned civic activist. When Bill Gates became a billionaire in 1987, he began giving to charity in the tens of millions of dollars, but in a rather random way. All that changed in 1994 when his wife Melinda Gates encouraged him to create a foundation through which he can organize his charitable work and achieve some of his goals. In 1994, Bill and Melinda established the William H. Gates Foundation, which was later renamed the Gates Learning Foundation to reflect its expansion into broader education efforts. The Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation was created in the year 2000 through the merger of the two Gates Foundations. In 2006, he convinced the famous investment billionaire Warren Buffett to give billions of dollars to the Gates Foundation. Warren Buffett's total donations up to this year amount to about $30 billion. And that's not all. Gates and Buffett gathered forces in 2010 and founded the Giving Pledge, a movement dedicated to convincing other billionaires to give more to charity and for the betterment of humanity. Now, are you ready for the bombshell? Bill Gates and his wife Melinda donated nearly $55 billion to the Bill and Melinda Foundation since it was founded in the year 2000. The Gates Foundation helped eradicate the only disease that was truly eradicated from the face of our beloved planet, the smallpox disease. Do you ever wonder why you stopped hearing about polio causing children in so many countries to become paralyzed and malaria almost vanishing from existence? Well, you can thank the Bill and Melinda Foundation for that. As for Microsoft, millions of students in the USA and around the globe currently can access the internet, learn about technology, and have access to computers, laptops, and tablets in their classrooms because Microsoft, through Bill Gates, donated the hardware. Now, let us move to other important subjects regarding Bill Gates. Let's start with Bill Gates' unwarranted influence on the mainstream media. Look, the Gates Foundation's lobbying of government and influence via money on the mainstream media has raised questions about several issues such as journalistic independence, democracy in the transmission of information, and addition to transparency and accountability of the mainstream media. The Bill and Melinda Foundation often defended its unwarranted influence on the media as 100% dedicated to increasing coverage and awareness of global health, education, and poverty issues. It continues to openly give hundreds of millions of dollars annually to influence the mainstream media and journalists for the purpose of informing the masses about issues such as suffering and poverty in many forgotten places around the globe. Yes, it also wants the masses to know about its charity work and purposes. According to experts, the Foundation's grants to media organizations such as ABC and The Guardian raise obvious conflicts of interest questions. How can reporting be unbiased when a major player holds the paycheck? They also say that the ability of one wealthy foundation to shape public discourse is troubling. It's safe to say here that the Gates Foundation's strategy in promoting and marketing its policies and goals might be contributing to questionable practices by the mainstream media, the due process in democratic journalism, and the integrity of the truth in reporting. Another rather disturbing aspect about Bill Gates is his lobbying for genetically modified foods and seeds. He alleges that his cause is noble and is designed to help humanity cope with hunger and weak crops that do not withstand climate change and bad weather. He also adds that GMO farming has a smaller carbon footprint. However, many experts disagree and believe he's wrong and that his financial goals are clouding his judgment. The Gates Foundation owns more than 500,000 shares in the massive giant Monsanto, which is an American agrochemical and agricultural biotechnology corporation with a very bad reputation due to its aggressive marketing of GM seeds and food, in addition to its endless attempts to monopolize the global seeds market. While the Gates Foundation downplays the harm of GMO, experts in the field and researchers who study GMO have quite a few concerns about allergies, cancer, and environmental issues. The majority agree that more research is needed before exonerating GMO. The experts are divided on Bill Gates' stance towards the environment and his foundation's environmental policies. In 2018, Gates announced his strong support of nuclear energy. He said, "Nuclear is ideal for dealing with climate change because it's the only carbon-free scalable energy source that's available 24 hours a day." He went on that year and founded the company TerraPower to develop an advanced nuclear reactor. Yes, Bill Gates is officially in the business of building nuclear reactors. His company is currently building an advanced nuclear reactor in the US. Well, experts argue that Bill Gates seems to forget that nuclear power has a substantial impact on the environment because it's dependent on mining and water discharge, and it's very water-intensive. It also comes with the risk of nuclear accidents, and in reality, it's not renewable and also produces nuclear waste, which remains hazardous to humans and animals for thousands of years. Forget about the story of Gates making $200 billion from vaccines. Because when he spoke at the World Economic Forum in 2019 in Davos about his foundation's investment donations of a little more than $10 billion to the Global Alliance for Vaccines and Immunization, the Global Fund to Fight AIDS, Tuberculosis and Malaria, and the Global Polio Eradication Initiative, and how this investment resulted in a return of more than $200 billion, he was talking about the economical returns in terms of economical effects and benefits, not profits, which is true. However, Bill Gates and his foundation are investors and have profited handsomely from their old and new investments in 4 major pharmaceutical giants: Pfizer, BioNTech, CureVac, via biotechnology. Hence, Bill Gates and his organization made quite a bit of money from COVID-19 vaccines. Microsoft is no less or more of a corporate giant than Google, Alphabet, Facebook, Twitter, Apple, Amazon, Pfizer, Toyota, Tesla, Samsung, etc. It's not the richest company in the world. It has plenty of competition and is literally like all the other giants, simply too big to fail and is far too integrated to be divided. However, the company has a long history of trying to monopolize the production of operating systems up to 100%, and it continues with such attempts, but it's failing despite being the #1 globally in producing operating systems. Nevertheless, Bill has been gradually disconnecting himself from Microsoft since 2000, and now he owns only 1.4% of the company shares and works as an outside consultant to its CEO. Bill Gates and his foundation will continue to divide people, experts, and politicians on important issues relating to health, vaccines, the environment, renewable energy, the media, and probably a few other issues. It's safe to say here that Bill Gates is just like all of us, just another human being, and hence had and still has the potential to do a lot of good or screw up royally. Most experts advise Bill Gates and his foundation to listen more and dictate less. Activists argue that his massive donations are not an excuse to practice dictatorship through his immense wealth and charity work. That's it for this video. Farewell, be cool, stay freaking positive, and if you'd like to stay updated and informed about the latest international economical news items, hit the subscribe and bell icons. Thank you for watching, and we'll see you in the next video.